Dustin finally let out the grievances that he had bottled up for a long time.
That's bullshit.
Florence did not believe it in the slightest. Her tone grew even shriller as she screamed.
As if you had the capability to help us.
My daughter's achievements today are all thanks to her own excellence.
It has nothing to do with you. Also, don't think you're all that.
You had to rely on a woman to climb your way up to where you are today. If Ms. Harmon hadn't protected you, the Hummers would have slaughtered you long ago.
So don't feel too happy now.
Ms. Harmon will kick a useless gigolo like you to the curb sooner or later.
And when the time comes, you'll become the public enemy.
Hearing these words, Dustin simply shook his head and laughed. Sure enough, there was no point in saying all those things. These people won't believe it at all. In the Nicholson family's eyes, he had always been nothing but an incompetent average Joe. Of course, he didn't care.
All right.
I don't want to waste my breath with you anymore. Please leave the medical center right now.
You are not welcome here.
Dustin said, leaving no room for their bullshit.
Just you fucking wait. This is not over.
James bellowed. Then, he helped Florence into the car and left. He couldn't beat him in a fight, so he could only think of another way.
Caitlin, are you okay?
Dustin asked with concern. I'm fine. I'm sorry for causing trouble for you, Mr. Rhys. Caitlin looked ashamed. You silly girl, if you encounter this again in the future, run far away and hide. Don't try to act tough, Dustin admonished.
Okay?
Caitlin nodded her head with a sweet smile on her face. In the evening, Dahlia returned to the Nicholson villa after work. As soon as she stepped through the door, she saw James' bruised face as well as Matt's stern one. As soon as James saw her, he told her what happened. Dahlia, you're finally home. Did you know that Mom got beaten up? Mom was beaten?
What happened?
Dahlia was shocked. It's a long story. You need to go to Mom's room and see her as soon as possible. James urged. Dahlia frowned and quickly went to Florence's room. She found Florence lying on the bed, looking pallid. Her head was wrapped in thick bandages, and her hands and feet were in casts. On the bedside table, there are several bloody towels. It was a scene from a nightmare. Mom, what happened to you? How did you get hurt so badly? Dahlia was aghast. Dahlia, you're finally back. If you had come any later, I may not see you ever again. She trailed off before erupting in a fake coughing fit. Mom, just what happened to you? Who did this to you? Dahlia's expression turned frosty. It was all because of that animal, Dustin. Your brother and I went to the Peaceful Medical Center today to ask him to help us write a formula, but not only did that animal refuse to help, he even spewed many offensive things. I got mad and told him off, but that savage was so ashamed that he flew into a rage and beat me and your brother up. I got lucky. Otherwise, I may not have been able to return. Florence sighed, recounting the incident with a few embellishments. Dustin? He would never do that. Dahlia's eyes widened. She found it a little hard to believe. The Dustin she knew was definitely not a vicious person. Dahlia, I know it's hard for you to believe, but the truth is already in front of you. Look at Mom, and then look at my face. We were beaten to a pulp. That Rhys bastard is simply not human. James whined indignantly. No, that can't be. Was it some kind of misunderstanding? Dahlia held on to the last glimmer of hope. Dahlia, things have already come to this. Don't tell me you still want to defend that trash. Fine, since you don't believe me, I'll show you proof. This is a recording from my dashcam. You'll know whether it's true or not once you watch it. James said, fishing out his phone from his pocket. He opened a video and pressed play. Dahlia focused on the screen. In an instant, she felt as though she'd been struck by lightning.